Okay, hello students. Today we will continue doing pronouns, and let me just jog your memory a bit and let me remind you of what we've done. Well, we've already finished personal pronouns. Remember, first person, second person and third person. We've also done possessive pronouns, mine, his, hers, theirs. I hope you remember all that. And we've also finished reflexive pronouns. So today we will do something new. We will do something called demonstrative pronouns. And after demonstrative pronouns, I will do relative pronouns as well. And I will also teach you the functions of the pronoun it. Okay, so let's start with demonstrative pronouns. Okay, demonstrative pronouns, let's start with the definition first. Now, what is the definition of a relative pronoun? Of a demonstrative pronoun or demonstrative pronouns? Well, demonstrative pronouns point to noun or nouns that they refer to. And there are four demonstrative pronouns. The four demonstrative pronouns, I've written it for you on the board. One's this, that, these and those. Okay, so this is used for a singular noun that is close by or near. For example, this is a duster. Now, duster is a noun, so and it is close to me. So that's why I've used the demonstrative pronoun this. This is a duster. So now these is used for plural nouns that are near. So these are sticks of chalk. So chalk is a noun. And it is plural because I have two sticks of chalk in my hand. So since it's also these sticks of chalk are in my hand, that is why I've used the demonstrative pronoun these. So these is used for plural nouns that are near or close by. And then you have another demonstrative pronoun which is that, and that is used for a singular noun. Could be a person, it could be a thing that is far away or at a distance. And I will also write the examples for you on the board, so you needn't worry. And those are used for plural nouns that are at a distance. So just you can pause this video and you can look at this once again. But all that I want you to do, kids, Sidhu, Rohit and all, I just want you to remember this table or this chart. If you remember this, you will be fine. Okay, so now let's, I hope this is clear. It's not very difficult. This, that, these, those. These are not difficult demonstratives. Okay, now I will write example sentences for you on the board, and which should make it easier for you to understand demonstrative pronouns. Okay, fine. So let's say this is a cat. So this demonstrative pronoun, this is referring to what? Or it's pointing out to the noun cat. Okay, and let's say these are books. Let's say that is a building. Okay, let's say those are flowers. So this is a cat, these are books, that is a building, those are flowers. So this, these, that and those, these are all demonstrative pronouns. This is pointing to the cat, these, the demonstrative pronoun these, this particular pronoun is pointing to books. And books, for example, let's say, rather than write books, I can also write, let's say, these are copies. So, these here, these plural. So, these, the demonstrative pronoun is pointing to these copies here. Okay, and these copies are close to me. So, that's how you use the demonstrative pronoun these. That there, that is a building. So this, that is used to point to a building. Okay, and those are flowers. Those there, those are flowers. So this demonstrative pronoun, those, are pointing to flowers, which is a plural noun. Okay, so the words this, these, that and those, the way these words have been used to point to noun or nouns, in these sentences, these words function like pronouns. So that's why we call these demonstrative pronouns. Okay, now we have something called demonstrative adjectives as well, and I just want you to make a note of that. So how do demonstrative adjectives work? Okay, so basically what we have is, we have demonstratives. So this, that, these and those are called demonstratives, and we have two kinds of demonstratives. One is a demonstrative adjective, the examples of which I'll write on the board, and these are what? Demonstrative pronouns. So how do demonstrative adjectives work? Well, it's very, very simple. So let's say this cat is mine, or let's say these copies are expensive, or let's say that building is old, or let's say those flowers smell good. Okay, so if you look at this, now this, these, that and those, so the forms are the same, in the sense the spelling is the same, we've not added any, spelling is the same, okay, but what follows these demonstratives here are nouns. So this cat, these copies, that building, and those flowers. So the demonstrative this out here is giving us more information about the cat, or it's qualifying or it's modifying the cat. Likewise or similarly, these is giving you more information about copies. That is giving you more information or modifying or qualifying the noun building. Likewise, those two is qualifying or modifying or giving you more information about the plural noun flowers. So what is the difference? Well, the difference by now should be obvious to you. I'm sure you can see the difference. When it comes to demonstrative pronouns, they stand alone, they stand on their own. In front of these demonstrative pronouns, you have no noun. So these demonstrative pronouns point to the noun or point to nouns. Remember that. And as far as these demonstrative adjectives are concerned, right in front of these demonstrative adjectives, you have noun or nouns. And so these demonstrative adjectives give you more information about. Okay, so whose is used for people and sometimes for non-living things. Okay, I remember when I was in school, our fathers, the fathers who taught us used to tell us that not to use whose as a relative pronoun for non-living things, but as of now it is acceptable to use whose for non-living things. I'll give you an example. Let's say the triangle whose three sides are equal is called an equilateral triangle. Okay, so I've used whose for a non-living thing here. So what the fathers who taught us, what they told us was to write it in this way. Okay, so the sentence out here reads like this: the triangle whose three sides are equal is called an equilateral triangle. So fathers used to tell us to write it like this. The triangle, the three sides of which are equal is called an equilateral triangle. So the triangle, the three sides of which are equal, is called an equilateral triangle. So they used to tell us to use the phrase the, add something in between. So we were told to use the phrase the of if we wanted to talk about a thing without life. And so now I hope I've made myself clear. But nowadays, if you refer to a few other grammar books, or if you look up the net, then it's said that it is okay for one to use whose even when one's referring to non-living things. So it's acceptable now. Okay, so let's now look at it once more. Okay, there's another thing I wanted to tell you is, let's look at this. Okay, there's another thing I wanted to tell you. Let's say he is the, okay, or let's say she is the lady who teaches us. Okay, so who is referring to lady, which is singular, and this is a noun that belongs to the feminine gender. Okay, let's say he is the man who teaches us. Here what I've done is I've used, so here who, the relative pronoun who. What is the antecedent of the relative pronoun here? The antecedent of the relative pronoun out here is man. Who is referring to which noun? Who is referring to the man? And man, what is the gender of man? The gender of man is masculine. Here, who is referring to what? Lady, the noun lady. So the gender of lady is feminine. So regardless of the gender, the form of the relative pronoun will not change. Okay, or let's say these are the men who helped us. So now here the relative pronoun who is referring to what? Is referring to the noun men, which is plural. But despite that, we have not changed the form of the relative pronoun. So what is it that I'm trying to tell you? Well, kids, I'm trying to tell you that the forms of the relative pronoun who have remained the same, despite it referring to singular nouns in the case of lady and man, and a plural noun in the case of men. And even when it comes to the gender, lady, feminine gender, man, masculine gender, men, masculine gender, the form or the way the form of the relative pronoun has not changed. So please do remember that. The form remains the same, as in the spelling remains the same. I have not added any other letter to it. Okay, so just remember that. Okay. Now, last thing, okay, so let's now keep it simple. You use who for people, okay, Even that is used for people, but since you are in class 5, okay, you will learn about that later on. Okay, but as of now, since you're small kids, just remember that if you want to use the relative pronoun who, you use it for people, which, and that you use it for non-living things, and sometimes for animals as well. Okay, and you use, you use whose. I've already spoken about with people, or sometimes with non-living things, and whose, it denotes what? It talks about what? Possession or ownership, or it shows a relationship. So please do remember this. Who is used for people, which and that's used for, which and that are used for non-living things and animals. Whose, the relative pronoun whose indicates or talks about what? Possession or ownership, or it also talks about or it shows a relationship. And you can use whose for people and for non-living things as well. So just remember that. Okay, fine. Okay, that's it for today. In the next class, what I will do is I will teach you the functions of the pronoun it. And meanwhile, whatever I have done, there is plenty of matter on the net. You might have a few books at home as well. Go through your books, and there are plenty of exercises on the net. These topics that I've spoken about, these topics have been handled by other teachers as well. Go through it in order for you to make your understanding better. See you for now. I'll see you in the next class. Bye.